Hello everyone, Mr. Opinionated here, and welcome back to another episode of Salty Messages, and I believe this is part 3. Now, special treat. There's 2 matches in this one because they're very short and sweet, but the aftermath is beautiful because they represent 2 opposites. One with lack of communication and one with an over amount of information in terms of communication wise. So we'll start with the first one with lack of. Now we're going to be focusing on 2, I'm going to say couple, because their names are very similar, and I don't know if they are a couple or they're just really good friends or brother, sister, or whatever, but they were working together and they both had, I believe, calm spirit, which in essence is a soft counter to Doctor, but I'll tell you the reason why it's not foolproof later on in the video. So anyway, this match goes on its regular thing, trying to take down the first person, and from what I can assume is Dwight knows what he's doing to a certain degree. Jake has massive lag issues, and obviously the Meg and Nia are a team, so that gets later on justified. The one thing I will say about this match is the reason that I brought a good amount of good perks and an indoor map was because there was a key. That's pretty much it. And Franklin's Demise is one of those perks where a lot of people hate it, for the fact that people think it's overpowered, which it's not overpowered, but some people think it's absolute garbage because it doesn't really help you in any form of chase, or doesn't, you know, protect gens or whatever. So it is a very 50-50 perk when it comes to the community. But anyway, I digress. So I take a good scan of the area, and I just see Nia in the corner, and that automatically tells me that she's got calm spirit. It's just, I just wish that she could have hidden a little better. So now that I know that Meg and the Nia are probably going to be the more difficult ones to find because of the lack of screams, Dwight and Jake are probably going to be the more focused people that I'm going to take down. That was my game plan. And yeah, when it comes to the aftermath of this match, which they don't get any gens done, spoilers, but it's the lack of communication. Now, I know that not everyone speaks English, I'm well aware, not that like stubborn that I think every country knows English, but I do believe if you can write English, I'm pretty sure there is a certain degree where you can speak it. And I would argue the fact that speaking a language would be easier, but again, that's just me, I could be completely wrong. Answers to why Jake just stood there, it might be apparent later because he lags so badly later on in this match, so that it could have been, I don't think he gave up, otherwise he still wouldn't be trying a little bit later on. But anyway, back to my point. So these 2 people, one of them was just going blah 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 blah. I'm just like, why do you need to respond in such a harsh manner? I just asked you a question. And then the same goes to the other person, but they kind of just gave off some weird like vibe of like, they completely confused me. I love the fact that this Meg went to get the key back as well and has dropped it yet again. Yes. Side note, if you know the killer has Franklin's Demise, and you've learned that lesson by the fact that you've lost your item, if you're that desperate for your item again, like a key, might I suggest you put it somewhere on the map where you know where it's not going to get found, like near an exit gate or like iconic part of the map, especially if you're in a team, because like if you don't want to lose that that item and you want to save it for later on, just stick it in a location where the killer's not going to find it, or the other survivors won't rob it, you know? I just find that weird that more players don't do that instead of just holding it. Like, you know, it's their last will and testament. No, Grandma will get the TV when I die of this terminal illness. You know, some shit like that. But, I digress. So, they invited me to a party chat, and I was in there for about 30 seconds before realising they either don't speak English, or if they are, they're not doing a good job. So I just assumed they could speak English because they wrote English to a certain extent. And but yeah, I was not. I went in there, I talked, and I got the like a and then there was some language I didn't understand, and then after trying to talk to them to just ask the simple reason why they DC'd, I got more the very like somber tone of sarcasm, and yeah, that was pretty much it. But it was just the way that I ask a simple question. Hi Nia, even though you're beyond the grave now. I love when that glitch happens. Anyway, so yeah, it was just the fact that it was just a lack of communication, and then one of them said I was going to get reported, and I was like, for what? And just like, and there was no evidence. Like, it's almost like people just use the report word to like scare people off, but there's no actual evidence of doing it. Like, have some form of evidence. You do realise you can just, anyone can say the word report, but it actually has, they do look at what you send in a report and see, well, he didn't do anything, so why are you reporting this? And people, and PlayStation will ignore that, you know. Have some concrete evidence when you report people, by the way, because certain words can be dodged. If you're going to say all the swear words under the sun, you're going to get in trouble, you know. Just because I asked a question doesn't mean I'm going to get reported, and you report that doesn't mean I'm going to get in trouble for asking a simple question. Now, here's the thing, what I was talking about Carmen's spirit. Now, the reason that I know that she's still around the area is because the doctor laughed. Even though she didn't scream, the doctor laughed, so that indicates that she's still around the area. Which is just, it's just a heads up if people didn't know. If people didn't know that was a thing. That's why I say it's a soft counter to Doctor, but I wouldn't say it's a full-on counter. And then yeah, she DZs even though she had her key in her hand. But yeah, that was the first match, and you'll see the messages very soon. And you can look at these messages and think that I was a little bit aggressive, which I really like. Looking back at it now, you could argue that, but at the same time, all I did was ask a simple question, and I get childish responses or just lack of a response. So I hope you enjoyed that one, but we have one more match to go. Now we're here at match number 2. Now before I say anything, the salty messages in this one are the opposite. So if you thought that was a bit long with the, you know, the how long I spreaded them out for the video, oh honey, you're going to have to get a lot of popcorn, because the next bundle of messages is humongous. It's about 3 minutes worth of saltiness. And you can put that on your fish and chips and you're probably going to cardiac arrest. Anyway, so this is a bit different. It was a group chat that happened, and it started, I think it was either the Laurie or the Kate that started it. Either way, they had every right to be angry at the said Meg and said Jane. And especially at the Meg, because Meg's responses to their unhappiness was treated with childish stupidity, and the fact that they tried to do a comeback was beyond the realm of pathetic. Now, the Jane here, who I got into a corner and I thought was quite amusing, it was like, haha! Yes, belong in the corner where you stay in the corner. She was definitely more the intelligent person, because from the standpoint of the messages, it seemed that the Meg and the Jane were in a, they're in their own team. And I don't know if the Laurie or the Kate were solos or their own team, but either way, they did get massively dicked over. It's probably the best way to describe it. And it just goes to show that just because you're in a team, it doesn't mean that your wise decision of hiding in a corner, not healing each other, waiting for the others to die so you can use your precious key, it just shows that you have no teamwork skill whatsoever. Kind of similar to this Meg's way of communicating to people, because they can't take the fact that they lost really badly and they were the worst team player, and they had to result of being a sad child, basically. And their comebacks were, well, I've heard secondary school children have better comebacks. Using the word virgin and, attacking their nationality. Yeah, that's great comebacks, mate. Great comebacks. Not to say that the Laurie or the Kate didn't respond back in a violent manner either, but they had every right to be pissed off. So I can understand their language, and at least they had somewhat of a, decent argument to the reasons why they were pissed off. And the Jane actually, had the decency to put in full-on sentences to explain the reasoning why she didn't help him out. And you know what? At the end of the day, it is just a game, fair enough. But also at the end of the day, that some people only play DBD, and if you're playing in the high ranks, you would think better decision making would be, much more apparent. And especially if you leave two people on a hook, and I don't know what their game plan was. Obviously them two were in a team, the Meg and the Jane, so they were probably just thinking to themselves, oh, screw it, we'll just wait for these two to die and not heal each other, even though they had plenty of time to do it. They had, look how much time they've still got. I'm picking up the Kate now. They're still not healing each other. I don't care if it's Sloppy Butcher. They still had the time to go all the way around to get the Laurie. And I see one of them hiding in the corner. Now, I don't know if they were self-caring, but I know they were in a team by what they were saying in the messages. So I decided to set up, thinking, okay, well, obviously they're going to help their teammates, right? But I go over there anyway, because, again, they're still injured, I can clearly see. And I hear the Meg. I see the blood. She's still here. You're an absolute moron. And then the Jane's here. Why? You've just practically just lost the game because you two are lurking in a corner, not healing. And you cannot argue that I was, lurking. I was setting up friggin' traps at the cow tree. So, whatever excuse they had, I totally agree with the Laurie and the Kate. They literally just did not play well. And even though Jane was the sensible one, unfortunately she had a teammate like Meg, aka the dumbass, that got a little bit too butthurt with the responses from the Laurie and the Kate. Now I get it, they did say some harsh things, but either ignore it, come back with something at least witty, or just straight up apologise because they had every right to be pissed off. But you know, I can't really give you the royalties, mate. I know it might be 0.3 from your calculations, but I just hope that the brutal humiliation serves as a purpose that maybe just get good in future rather than trying to be clever, which you clearly wasn't. But thank you for subscribing to the channel, by the way. Speaking of which, if you guys did like this video, don't forget to smack that like button, don't forget to share this out, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I may make more videos like this in the future. It's all up to you. I did make a community post about this earlier. But thank you everyone for watching. Salty messages are here and now. Enjoy.